Well, good morning and welcome to the Snow Schnurch for December 20th. Oh, my snowheads, how I've missed you. Those technical difficulties finally are going by the wayside. Received the new satellite dish late last night. We get FedEx delivery at about 8 o'clock last night. But it was the dish, and I got her up and going. So here we are with Snow Church. Now, I'm not going to have time to do a shorty and the full length one. So we're kind of going to do splitting the difference here. I'm going to actually reset my watch here and make sure I keep up with pretty decent time on this. But we got certainly some things to talk about. I know unless you've been living under a rock the last day or two, you know that I've been hyping a big storm. And when I hype, it usually means that there's a pretty good chance of it coming true. I'm not one to hype for the sake of hyping, I guess. It's fine for others to get all dramatic and everything like that, but I like to just call it like I see it. And when I see a monster, I say monster. So we got a monster on the way. Anyway, we're looking at a fairly live shot of the Portage Lake lift bridge between Houghton and Hancock. And the reason why you can barely see it is that it's snowing pretty good down there. We picked up a couple of inches overnight and it's still snowing. The snowfall outlay in the last 24 hours, this is the map that kind of catches up at the time that I'm doing this, but this gives a pretty good representation of where that area of light snow impacted last night and into the morning hours. I would imagine some of the totals across the Keweenaw will grow as more data comes in. But going to the radar, let's go to the radar. We can see that there really isn't a whole lot going on. I can animate this, maybe. Come on, animate it. There we go. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. So this is like part one of the storm that'll be coming and impacting the Midwest for the second half of this week and the weekend. The other part you can't really see. It's down here in, oh gosh, off the coast of Mexico, really. And it is the piece that's really going to kind of throw the extra juice into this system. I'm going to go to the computer models now, and we are looking at the European model. And this is about, well, let's see. Let's go right to about what time it is right now. Right about there. So if you remember what the radar looked like, and see how nicely it matches up to the precipitation signal from this model. We're doing pretty good on that account. And as we go through time now, that system gradually works off. You can see how some light snows continue off the Great Lakes, off of Lake Superior through today and tonight, but really not a ton more snow. I don't suspect, maybe as much as 3 inches where it's really coming down, and here in Jake where it's sunny, not sunny, but not snowing, not much at all. But then this is part one of that storm. And for those not following Snow Church, they're going to miss out because they're going to see this getting going and organized thinking it's the storm. Well, it's really only part one to the storm. So it will get itself organized, spread precipitation into Minnesota, Iowa by later in the day on Wednesday, then Wednesday night into Thursday, starts creeping into Wisconsin and the UP. This is about midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. And this is just after sunrise on Thursday. And you can already see how we're getting this look like, oh, this thing is not coming together. It is not going to be a big producer, But watch, what you can't see is some moisture coming up from here, and then this very strong cold front. Arctic front is actually what it is. Watch how those two get together, and then boom. And then you'd think that this would just continue to pivot around like that, and the northwards would still get missed. But au contraire, this is going to be another area of low pressure cut off from the main flow. And as you'll learn in weather school one of these days, weeks, years, cut off lows, when the upper air low is cut off from the main flow, doesn't move very fast. So any corresponding surface low also doesn't move very fast. So watch how this moisture gets wrapped almost due north and swings its way up and in. I mean, there's still some broken stuff, but this low really doesn't take off and run off that way very quick. And this would be Friday morning. Huge winds down in the Chicago, Milwaukee area. Also big time winds across the Lake Superior region, talking about 50, 60 mile an hour winds, maybe even 70 mile an hour winds. Combine that with falling snow that has fallen, and you got yourself an old-fashioned blizzard. So we'll just keep clicking through here. It gets to be a 970 low, which is, don't quote me on this, but I believe that is either a weak Category 3 hurricane or a strong Category 2 hurricane as far as central pressures go. We're comparing mid-latitude cyclones to tropical systems, so it's not a fair comparison, but just to show you how deep this area of low pressure gets. So here we are late Friday afternoon, and we're going to start to see the system snow or system moisture get pulled off to the east. But it's also, some of it's getting wrapped around this low, and it's going to be enhancing the lake effect snows. So watch how these lake effect snows continue at a pretty decent clip. Right now we're at around 1 a.m. Saturday morning, and it just keeps on going. Look at that. Okay, now it's starting to wind down. This is a couple of hours after sunset on Saturday, but it doesn't fully go away until we get to about Sunday morning. Here is just after sunrise Sunday morning, so things are nice and quiet. So if you've got travel plans for the holidays, my best advice, at least in the upper Midwest or in any of the airports, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Chicago, Green Bay, Detroit, probably even Indianapolis, get out of there by tomorrow or face the consequences, because you probably won't be getting out of there till maybe Saturday night at the latest, depending upon how the airlines handle their crewing of the aircraft, or Sunday. So not good news for traveling. And as far as driving goes, very, very, very difficult. I don't want to say impossible, but if you're told to stay off the roads with this one, do it, because the winds and the snow are going to be huge problems. All right, then let's just fast forward. We've got another clipper that'll come in about Monday right there. And then another one just as we finish this model run by about Thursday. And it just barely is coming in. I'll go one more. There, and that's Thursdays. What happens as we go through next week is the huge trough, upper air trough that sets up across the eastern United States the second half of this week and into the weekend, relaxes and allows energy to come into the west again. So they're going to get some much needed rains and mountain snows along the west. and we're going to continue to see some clippers. And as far as temperatures go, you know, I think for sure the Northwoods will all be staying below freezing for daytime highs through next week. You know, leading into, well, that whole time between Christmas and New Year's, and maybe even as far south as south of I-80 quite a few times. So, man, I don't think I remember a Christmas like this where snowfall was going to be so plentiful on the ground, you know, at Christmas time. So, off to a great start. I can't imagine after this storm late this weekend there not being a single place in the, you know, Minnesota snowmobile areas, Wisconsin snowmobile areas, upper and lower Michigan snowmobile areas where you won't be able to ride. Maybe even those of you that ride northern Illinois, the canals and stuff like that. I know I've heard that can be a lot of fun, so could be in business as well. And of course the Rockies are getting their blasts. So I see I'm up to about 10 minutes or a little over 10 minutes. So I'll shut her down for today. Thanks for coming along. Watch for the Alcam to become alive as we go through the day today. And keep your sticks on the ice, folks. I'll talk to you tomorrow.